rain in the forecast here in Soldier Field for the Jaguars visit. There is Gus Bradley, 48 years old, fifth head coach of the franchise's history, helped build the defense with Pete Carroll in Seattle and then came to Jacksonville last year. Also year 2 for Mark Trestman on the opposite side as the Bears head coach. Remember, he came from the CFL in Montreal, where in his second year, he won the Grey Cup, the league championship. Tremendous offense, and the offense returns intact for Trestman. But as we addressed in Monday Night Countdown and at the start of the game, can Jared Allen and the new faces on this defense get the Bears back to the playoffs? Robbie Gould is the veteran kicker. It's the one special team spot that's set for the Bears. Their punting and long snapping situation we'll discuss as the night goes on. Robbie's set to kick it off, and Jordan Todman will be the deep man for the Jaguars. Last time many of you saw Soldier Field on your TV, it was that Green Bay game. It was all brown, it was dusty, it was the depths of winter. A nice grass surface here for Gould and the Bears and the Jaguars tonight. Figure to see more of the starters here into the second quarter for the Bears, and a good part of that first half, especially with Chad Henne in the first team offense for Jacksonville, which beat Tampa Bay 16-10 in week 1. Gould kicks it, off we go here in Chicago. Todman will run up and take it from a couple deep. Their special teams were poor against Philadelphia, who brought down at the 27-yard line. Sherrick McManus with the tackle. Former Michigan man Chad Henne, who started 4 years in Ann Arbor with the Wolverines, then went to the Dolphins, who's now been with Jacksonville for a couple of seasons, 50 NFL starts, and the plan going in is Chad Henne will be the guy. There's no real competition for the #1 job, and Blake Bortles will be the apprentice. Toby Gerhart, who backed up Adrian Peterson in Minnesota, gets his first carry as a Jaguar. Didn't play last week with a hip pointer. And a nice run there, John, of 7 yards.
And here comes the Jaguars in the no-huddle offense. Up-tempo. They're going to put Chad Henne in charge of getting the Jaguars in the perfect play, and they'd like to get Toby Gerhart 4 to 6 carries early in this ballgame.
After an official gain of 6, Henne's throw is incomplete. It's intended for Allen Hurns, who starts at wide receiver. He was covered by Tim Jennings. Let's address that right away, John, with this Jaguars team. They're missing some of the people who they think will be part of their receiving corps in Cecil Shorts and second-round pick Allen Robinson.
That's why Allen Hurns is starting. Hurns played for offensive coordinator Jed Fitch at Miami, and he has been the talk of this camp. He gives the Jaguars a size receiver, something they're lacking.
Hey, Al. Third and 4. Jared Allen with a push towards Henne, who got away and completes it for a first down to Marquise Lee. So no catches for Lee, the rookie second-round pick out of USC last week. And there's his first.
How about Luke Jokel at left tackle blocking Jared Allen? Allen thought he got held, flung to the ground. But I think it's a good no call, and Luke Jokel making a transition from right tackle to left tackle amongst a lot of other changes up front for Jacksonville.
Jokel was the second overall pick in the 2013 draft. Gerhart to the right. He doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage as Tim Jennings dives in and takes him down. So forever it was Maurice Jones-Drew. 8 years as the running back here. He's now in Oakland, and Gerhart finally gets a chance to be a #1.
And when he was a #1 back at Stanford, we all remember the 350 carries, 25-plus touchdowns. He's capable of taking the load physically, but can he make enough plays?
Second and 10, Henne. Complete to the tight end, Mercedes Lewis. He is the oldest player on this Jacksonville offense at 30 years old. And he gets a first down for the Jaguars.
That's just too easy, Mike. We've talked about the struggles of this Bears defense, but when a tight end runs a corner route, the corner and the safety, they have to negotiate how to stop the corner. And Tim Jennings should sink underneath this throw. It's just too easy.
First down, Henne has his rookie Lee on the run. Marquise Lee had outstanding early career at USC. Struggled a bit in his final season with the Trojans, but taken in the second round, and they think this is where their future is going to be. Lee from USC, the injured Robinson from Penn State at the receiver spot.
And they're putting a lot of stress on him early in this no-huddle offense. See if he can handle all the volume with a veteran quarterback.
Gerhardt runs into Shane McClellan, former Bears first-round pick, who is now trying to make the transition from defensive end to linebacker. No game there. Well, there is the first-round pick. Kyle Fuller is being taken back to the locker room for the Bears, who was injured a couple of plays ago. We will check on where he got hurt. But Fuller quickly out of the Bears lineup. Long yard to get for Jacksonville on third down. Trying to do it with Gerhardt on the edge. Well ran by Jonathan Bostic. Bears took him in the second round last year. Had to play because of injury and does a good job there on third down.
Well, it's a predictable toss crack to your left side, and the offensive line can't get to Bostic, who runs through traffic and makes a beautiful open field tackle. And that sets up Josh Scobie, the longest tenured Jaguar, for a bomb here, Mike.
Yeah, 49-yard field goal attempt for Scobie. Number one on the points list for the Jaguars, Brian Anger, returns as his holder. Carson Tinker also returns as the long snapper. The 49 comes out with a knuckle, but goes through. And the opening drive, 3 points. Engineered by Henny, finished off by Scobie. And the Jaguars on top. Not the crispest strike, but gets through for 3. On course here, Soldier Field. Young fans get a chance to check out the great history of the Chicago Bears. 2014 version, coming off that 8-8 season, missing the playoffs 6 of the last 7 years. Trying to get that spun around here this year. Well, odd to come to Chicago and not see Devin Hester back to receive. He's no longer with the Bears. Contract done. He went to Atlanta. So Eric Weems, who once was a special teams Pro Bowler with the Falcons, now will have the main kick return role. From 6 yards deep, Weems runs into the shoulder of his own man. Is down at the 15. Looks like he ran into Matthew Mulligan's shoulder. And Ryan Davis there on the stop. Now on the first kickoff, John, we showed Kyle Fuller leaving. Bears tell us he got hurt here on special teams. And that turn of the ankle right there, the left ankle, is why they took Fuller back to the Bears locker room to get checked out.
And they were decimated at that position last year. Tillman missed a lot of the season. Kelvin Hayden, another corner for the season. Let's just hope Fuller is okay.
Jay Cutler and the Bears, they were terrific on offense last year, almost 28 points a game. And Cutler's first down pass over the top to Marshall is incomplete. Chris Clemens was in the face of Cutler. John, that was the big story last year. Would Jay Cutler come back? Would he get a new contract? It's 7 years and $126 million for reporting purposes. Really 3 guaranteed years, $54 million, but a good fit in this offense with Cutler and Trestman.
Yes, he's more familiar with Trestman and his offense. He's more familiar with his teammates. Let's see if he can solve problems on the field and make another step towards being a great quarterback.
So 86 in motion. Zach Miller had a good game against Philadelphia last week. This is Alshon Jeffrey, who had a great second season last year, went to the Pro Bowl. Projected starters for week 1 for the Bears. The same offensive line that was here a year ago. Jordan Mills not playing here tonight for Chicago. And all the skill players, Forte, Fiametta, Marshall, Jeffrey, and Martellus Bennett, who's back in the lineup after he was suspended for about a week by Mark Trestman. He got into a camp altercation with that rookie Fuller, who got hurt, threw him down to the ground. Mark Trestman said, we take care of our own here, and took care of that by suspending Bennett. 3rd and 3 to Forte in the open field. A nice tackle made by Dwayne Gratz. That's a second-year man for Jacksonville in that secondary. And the Bears go 3 and out.
That's what you have to do at the cornerback position. So much is made of coverage ability and interceptions. You have to make tackles on the perimeter, and that's what Gus Bradley likes about this young Jaguar secondary, is every member is a good tackler, and that's really what turns Seattle around, Mike, is their ability to tackle on the edge of their defense.
Looking for a new punter here in Chicago. There's a battle. Tress Way and Patrick O'Donnell will alternate punts. Also new snapper, and they will alternate with Brandon Hartson getting the first shot here tonight. Will Blackman slipped and fell for Jacksonville, so the Bears will down this one at the 18-yard line. It turns into a nice-looking 57-yard punt on the resume of Patrick O'Donnell. Good defense by the Jaguars there. Jaguars won 4 games last year, 4-12. Along with Cleveland, they were at the bottom of the league in offense. So this is the worst offense in the league last year, John, against the worst defense in the league. Two teams looking for improvements on these sides of the ball as we watch tonight. Drive 2 for Chad Henne. He throws it to Gerhardt, and Toby will gain 9. Taken down by Danny McCray. The Jaguars are searching in the offensive line. They like Jokel. Beatles came in from the AFC champs. Center position's going to rotate. Might not be Mike Brewster. We mentioned Gerhardt being here. Cecil Shorts will be the #1 receiver. He's out with a right hamstring injury. And you've seen Lee and Lewis's work already here tonight. An offensive line remade last year. They're reworked again this season. Opening for Gerhardt. And Toby Gerhardt takes it to the 44-yard line. Good-looking run of 17.
And speaking of center, Luke Boanko, the rookie from Virginia, steps into the game, and he leads Toby Gerhardt right off tackle on a power play. And say what you want about Toby Gerhardt, Mike. He's had more 10-plus yard carries by a percentage than a lot of backs in pro football.
And he first down. Don't know if this is good offense from the Jaguars, bad defense from the Bears, but Jacksonville moving it comfortably. A first down to Lewis in a gain of 11.
That's what Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator, is doing with Chad Henne. He is empowering Henne to call his own plays. If he sees the safeties deep, both of them, he's going to let Henne get to a run. If he sees man coverage, he has no problem giving Chad Henne the green light to call his own stuff.
Couldn't get to the corner there, Toby Gerhardt, as Jared Allen chased him down along with Lance Briggs. John, we've seen Gerhardt for a while, back to that runner-up season for the Heisman in 2009 when he was second to Alabama's Mark Ingram.
350 carries, 28 touchdowns. He was the go-to horse of the Stanford Cardinal, and when he's gotten a chance to carry the football for the Vikings, he's made a lot of big plays, though it be a limited role behind Adrian Peterson.
On the loss of 2, a 2nd and 12. Henne pass over the top and incomplete for Mike Brown. Second-year receiver out of Liberty who caught 32 balls for Jacksonville last year.
And that's been a problem for the Jaguars. They have struggled over the last 3 years to throw the football. Completion percentage, yardage, you name the passing statistics. The Jaguars have been at the bottom of the league, Mike. And part of it is they haven't had quality wide receiver play, people that can separate.
Why?
Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell's record safe for the last few years. Jordan Togman, the third down back, is in. It's 3rd and 12. And Henne over the middle, complete. Now the run, it's Mike Brown. So the first down at 25 and a gain of 21.
Well, the Bears play their standard 2-deep zone. Marquise Lee occupies the underneath coverage. There's no pass rush whatsoever, and that's a heck of a throw by Chad Henne. And once again, it's no huddle offense.
Too tall that time for Brown, as Tim Jennings was coming in from the corner. This is Chicago defense with some familiar names, especially on the corners in Jennings and Tillman, and the hopes that when Kyle Fuller, the first-round pick, is healthy and playing, that they can play those 3 guys in so many 3-wide situations. You have 3 corners on the field.
58. Yeah. 180. It's up.
Second and 10. Henne is protected. Flag down over the top. Lewis couldn't bring it in as Ryan Mundy was battling with him and broke it up. You see that flag came in as Henne threw it. Carl Cheffers is
prior
our
to the
official.
pass. Holding. Number 21 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
And it's on the man defending on the play, the safety Mundy.
Big point of emphasis is the illegal use of hands. It is a big point of emphasis. I don't know that that'll be a call in a regular season, but I thought Mundy, who's been a very good coverage safety, held his own there.
We saw the flag in the air as we picked up the back half of that replay. It happened as he was pulling away. It's first and 10 at the 21. Getting away from the pressure is Henne, and Mercedes Lewis has blocks. Following it up the numbers to the 6-yard line. 15 yards. Jonathan Bostic almost got there, but couldn't.
That's excellent design by Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator. Fake a stretch one way and throw a screen back to Mercedes Lewis the other way. Flow goes one way, Mercedes Lewis goes the other. And right now with this no-huddle offense, the Jaguars have the Bears off balance.
From the 7, one back look with Todman. Jordan Gaines, 2, University of Connecticut, his second year. Carried it 76 times a year ago for the Jaguars.
And communication is a big part of the no-huddle offense. We know that, but it also stresses this Bear defense. New safeties, new linebackers, and some new schemes from some new position coaches really puts a lot of stress on a defense, particularly early in the season.
Hey, 55.
Second and goal, Henne. Coverage was tight and good, trying to squeeze it into Allen Hurns, who at 6'3", John, gives the Jaguars something they need. Size the receiver spot, coverage with Tillman there.
Well, Hurns has had a lot of injuries at Miami, Florida, where he played, but not a lot of people know that Allen Hurns broke Hurricane records for yardage last year. He has deep speed and playmaking ability. Right now, he's at the top of the Jaguars receiving depth chart. Now, they've had some issues with suspensions.
Use the size of Mercedes Lewis. That was a wide receiver here at the bottom of the screen. And movement will cost the Jaguars 5 here.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Hard not to like Gus Bradley when you are around him. He's energetic. It's what a franchise that was feeling a bit moribund and down needed. Bringing in young players, giving them the opportunity, creating competition. A terrible start for this team last year, including losses to Denver and San Francisco, but they came back and had a stretch where they won 4 out of 5 to be respectable. Third and goal. Henne checks it down. Can Lee make a play? The rookie cannot. Charles Tillman, the veteran, erases it. That's another field goal attempt for Jacksonville.
Well, they're trying to get a double move down the field. It's not there, but look at number 33, Charles Tillman. Keeps vision on the football at all times, and he can still tackle. And you know he can create turnovers. One of the great turnover-creating machines in Chicago Bear history.
Scobie made the first field goal from 49, this from 25. And 2 drives, 2 field goals. Jacksonville keeping that one for about a dozen plays. 6-0 Jaguars. And the Bears back on the field with offense in a moment. After Brian Hoyer gets his run with the first team, both quarterbacks to see first team action announced today by Mike Pettin, the Browns head coach. The one true legitimate quarterback battle going on in the NFL. We'll see it Monday night in D.C. as the Redskins and Browns meet to wrap up this second preseason week and all the excitement after Manziel's debut against Detroit in preseason week 1. That's coming up for you Monday night here on ESPN. Eric Weems Across the 20, the ball comes out, and the Jaguars are on it. Let's see if he was down or not. Will Blackman with the recovery. Special teams hit with Will Talfo, the fullback. And a conversation amongst the officials looked like it came out.
The ruling on the field is we have a fumble recovered by the kicking team.
Yep.
First down, Jacksonville.
Now let's give Blackman the credit for the forced fumble and the fumble recovery. He got him before Talfo does and gets the ball.
And I love the Jacksonville sideline. A lot of excitement down there, and it starts with head coach Gus Bradley. He's remade this Jaguar football team in his image, and they're competing on all three phases. I don't care if it's a preseason game or not. I like the way the Jaguars have started this game.
And Gus made that point to us yesterday. He said, no, when he got here last year, it was a turnover, and instead of the sideline exploding with excitement, it was like, okay, great. And he wanted to see some of that energy and passion, and you spotted that right away on the Blackman caused fumble and recovery. Of course, it was a turnover, so looked at in replay and confirmed. And no Devin Hester here with Chicago. Weems, who has plenty of experience. And Joe DiCamillo, the special teams coordinator for the Bears, hitting the shot there for the moment. Sees another mistake on teams for the Bears. Henny, though, is brought down on first down as Jeremiah Ratliff and Stephen Paya meet at the quarterback. Flag on the play on Jacksonville.
Holding, offense, number 60. That penalty's declined. Second down.
It's Mike Brewster, the center.
That's a backbreaker. Great field position, sudden change. You take a shot. Not only do you get a holding penalty, but Mike Brewster continues to struggle. He had 2 bad shotgun snaps last week against Tampa. Mike Brewster's got to pick it up if he wants to be in his lineup on opening day.
2nd and 17, and Todman with the run. Bostic the tackle for 4 yards. Talk about the center position and the search for Jacksonville. They're going to rotate centers by quarter tonight.
Well, Mike Brewster had a couple bad snaps last week against Tampa. Here he is late with the football on 3rd and goal in the previous series. You follow that performance up with 2 bad snaps, and there has to be some concern as to who the opening day center for the Jaguars is going to be. Mike, they had Brad Meester for 14 years. He just retired. This is a very difficult position to break a young center in at, and right now the Jaguars are going through growing pains.
Have to take a timeout here, using their first of the 3. Brewster was the left guard for 10 games out of Ohio State. Now in his 3rd year in the league. So we're going to see, and this is very odd, John, to see a new center each quarter. Brewster, then Bowanko, who was in for a snap earlier because of an equipment issue with Brewster. Linder in the 3rd, and then McClendon starting guard in the 4th quarter.
I'd probably call Brad Meester. I'd say, hey, get back in here. He was a center for 14 years. Right now, they don't know who the opening day center is going to be. That's a big problem as a regular season looms.
Jaguars have run most of the plays here tonight. Henny slips and falls and is brought down. Trevor Scott came over from Tampa Bay. Flag down in the secondary as Scott got in there for the sack.
Illegal contact. Number 24 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's on Kelvin Hayden, so a couple of sacks throwing Jacksonville nearly out of field goal range, all erased with that contact outside of the 5-yard area.
Take a look at Hayden.
That's one of the areas they're emphasizing and trying to tighten up. And the question becomes, John, when the receiver gets to the top of his route, is he initiating the contact or is the DB doing it after 5 yards?
It's been the conversation for a long time, Mike.
So instead of 4th down and a long field goal attempt, it's 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. Those Bears defenses look better the last couple of snaps. Shea McClellan, Lamar Houston meet at Jordan Todman. Well, John, these first 3 points and the points of emphasis for officiating all speak to that. The illegal contact, defensive holding. We saw a huge jump in those defensive type fouls on pass situations just in the preseason week 1 this year.
And we've already had 2 tonight, both against Chicago on this drive, and got to tighten it up.
Number 24, Henny on the boot, throws complete to Allen Hurns, who's tackled by Tillman at the 19-yard line. Tillman is slow to get up. We saw Fuller get hurt on the opening kickoff. Kyle Fuller will not return, we hear, for the Bears tonight with that ankle injury.
3rd and long situation. Pass rush specialists on the field. Keep an eye on number 93, Will Sutton, their 3rd-round draft choice. Good pass rusher at Arizona State, and they need some pass rush from their interior linemen.
3rd and 8. Henny get rid of it quick. It's caught by Hurns in bounds for the first down. This undrafted free agent trying to make this team has it inside the 10-yard line at the 9. Well, we talked about the receiver spot, the injury to Cecil Shorts and Allen Robinson. There's also no Justin Blackman, suspended indefinitely. The number 5 pick in the 2012 draft, Ace Sanders, the 4th-round pick who was productive last year. Looks like he's on his way to a suspension, a 2nd violation of the substance abuse policy reported. He has a leave of absence from the team. Todman on the carry slips and falls, and he goes to the 6-yard line. So, John, the players who they were counting on having, they don't have. They hope to get Sanders back at some point. Blackman, who's got 3 violations of the substance abuse policy, looking at an indefinite suspension. And he was arrested again in July for marijuana possession, so you can't count on him. Don't know when you're going to get Sanders back, but that's an area they need to improve.
And I like what they've done in terms of handling it, Mike. They have not blinked as a coaching staff. They're playing young players. They're in a no-huddle offense. No distractions at all, even though for a lot of people it would be.
Out of the pistol, first option covered. And he comes to his 2nd. It's Lee for the touchdown. But a penalty flag is down. Back by where Henny threw the ball. 10-yard line.
There's the Bears.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Number 92 defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
And the Jaguars take a 12-0 lead.
Well, it's going to be a play-action pass. They want to throw a post to the top of the screen, but watch Henny get to Marquise Lee at the bottom of the screen. He goes through his progression. The protection holds up, and he throws a beautiful strike for 6. And that's what Chad Henne brings to the Jaguars, a sense of calmness, a lot of experience, and 3 possessions, 3 scores, aided by a couple big penalties on this Bear defense.
If you watched week 1 of the preseason, you know that the experimental extra point coming essentially a 33-yard kick, moved back from the 2 to the 15. It'll be throughout this week of the preseason, and that's all because of the high rate of extra points that were made last year. 59.6% of them made. How about the Jaguars? They've run 26 of the 29 plays here. They look pretty good, leading 13-0 in Chicago. Penalty helped keep the drive alive for Jacksonville, but Chad Henne, John, and we talk about Blake Bortles and turning it over to him. Henne grew during the offseason, had a good offseason, returns in an offense for the 2nd consecutive year, and his number's very good here thus far tonight.
And you said it. There's nothing like being in the same system 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a row. And Henne has not been afforded that, and clearly the experience shows so far tonight.
Weems fumbled on the last kickoff, protects it, but only gets back to the 15-yard line on this return. It was a poor special teams effort for the Bears against Philadelphia last week. Only 3 plays so far for Jake Cutler in the offense. Last year, 8-8. Mark Trestman making his debut and infused the offense with excitement. Jake Cutler missed 5 games, though Josh McCown played well. McCown now in Tampa Bay. Records set on the offensive side for total and passing yards. But it was that defense that we've talked about throughout the night. The big plays that they did not make, no matter how the offense put them in position. They gave up big ones, including the 4th and 8, 48-yarder. Aaron Rodgers to Randall Cobb, that end zone to the right there in the final minute of the final week of the season. That forced the Bears home for the playoffs and sent the Packers on through as the champions of the North. Only 3 plays, so we'll see the starters a bit longer on the offensive end. You would imagine it's a Forte carry for just a yard here.
I watched Jacksonville on defense. I think I'm looking at Seattle. It's the same base defense. They're using Jonathan Cyprien as a strong safety on the line of scrimmage, just like Seattle uses Cam Chancellor. That time they jump into their standard 8-man front and reject the run. Jacksonville much improved up front on defense with the addition of a couple former Seahawks, Red Bryant and Chris Clemens.
180.
2nd and 9. Forte with the run. And again, it is nowhere to go. Roy Miller with the defensive pressure. They look good against Tampa in preseason week 1. You don't want to read too much into preseason games, but Jacksonville has seen some nice positive impact plays to get going. After 1 here in Chicago, good opening quarter for the road team. Jaguars leading 13-0. 13-0 as we begin the second quarter of week 2 of the NFL preseason. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters on the sideline, Chip Dean, Jay Rothman, our director and producer in the truck. Good to have the whole Monday Night Football team back at it as we have 2 preseason games this week. The doubleheader to wrap up week 1, Monday night game every week, and then of course we'll have a wild card playoff game for you on ESPN this year and the Pro Bowl. So launching our exciting season, the 45th season of Monday Night Football here tonight. 3rd and 10 for Cutler and the Bears. Cutler eludes the rush and completes it downfield to Martellus Bennett to the 40-yard line. A first down gain of 25.
Well, head coach Gus Bradley wanted to improve his pass rush. They went out and added some pass rushers, and that time this Bear offensive line does a nice job. Here's the 4 pass rushers for Jacksonville, but the Bears do a nice job collectively allowing Cutler to step up in the pocket. Jay keeps his eyes downfield. Nice throw.
And it's Bennett, who had a career-high 65 catches last year and thrived in this offense. From the 40, Cutler going sideline towards Marshall, and the coverage there with Dwayne Gratz, the second-year corner. Marshall, extraordinary catches that he makes, John, along that sideline. He and Alshon Jeffrey, the Bears training camp in Bourbonnais, it's day in, day out, that highlight reel of great catches by these tremendous athletes.
It really is. I remember when the Bears didn't have one go-to receiver, Mike. I mean, Detroit has Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss in Minnesota, the poor Bears. Now they have 2 go-to receivers. Man, are they fun to watch.
One thing they're searching for, we'll discuss as the night goes on, a 3rd wide receiver for those 3 receiver looks. This guy's a tremendous pass catcher out of the backfield, but Forte's been stopped, and that is Gratz again. 3rd time we've called his name in the Bears' 8 offensive plays.
Well,
John, this Jacksonville defense with Gratz and Ball at one corner. Let's look at the line up front. You mentioned the Seattle influence with Clemens and Bryant acquired in free agency. Paul Puslesny's not playing tonight. He's the top tackler on this group. And that secondary that we mentioned, Winston Guy, is also another former Seahawk. Gus Bradley familiar with him. Time for Cutler here, and no open receiver, looking for Eric Weems downfield. And flag down as they were trying to protect Cutler for a long time.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, number 90 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Andre Branch, another point of emphasis this year, watching those hands up to the headgear.
Branch came all the way around the horn on a stunt. He doesn't like the call, but when you hear the officials come to training camp with their points of emphasis, that means they're going to emphasize the points, Mike. Illegal contact, hands to the face, so if it's close, it's going to get called, and that time Branch got caught.
Especially in the preseason. They're going to make sure that point of emphasis has been message sent. Now, does it regulate during the regular season, or do they keep the line where it is set in August? First down, play action pass for Cutler. Love to watch him throw. Throws his receiver open. It is Jeffrey, and the hit as Jeffrey was down will tack 15 yards on. Winston Guy the hit, and Jeffrey shake it up.
Personal foul, number 22, defense, for unnecessarily contacting a down player. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Guy who intercepted McCown last week and ran it back for a touchdown has made a lot of plays, but that was a foolish play, and that'll be subject to a fine.
No doubt. Good to see Jeffrey up. He's okay. Timeout. And NFL preseason special is brought to you by Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, in theaters everywhere August 22nd, not yet rated. At NFL.com/now, get the biggest library of NFL videos on your favorite device. Our favorite summer city in America, Chicago, Illinois. Awesome day. Wonderful weather. The Bears fans piling in here. It's a heck of a lot nicer than it will be when we return on December 15th to see the Bears at home. We'll also see Chicago at the Meadowlands taking on the Jets on Monday night, week 3. Jeffrey standing on the sideline with his helmet. As you saw when we went to break, he walked off under his own power. From the 23, and here is Cutler again with time. And crossing underneath Forte, got a block from Weems. And Matt Forte to the 10, first down.
Jacksonville plays a lot of 3-deep zone, just like Gus Bradley did in Seattle. And Mark Trestman is dialing up some good 3-deep beaters. That time, watch Cutler drop back the pass. He's going to find Forte on a check down out of the backfield. But Cutler continues to get ample time to go through his progressions. And watch the block. Chicago needs a third receiver, Mike. We know about Jeffries. We know about Marshall. But who is the third receiver on this Bears offense this year? Weems just helped himself.
Jeffrey back in, bottom of the screen. Forte, you can see the timing wasn't crisp there. And Roy Miller in his 6th year out of Texas stretched it out and brought him down. John, Matt Forte, what doesn't he do? So good. 2nd in yards from scrimmage in Bears history with his season last year, 3rd in the NFL. I like the quote from Mark Trestman. We need to figure out what we can do for Matt Forte to even elevate his complete game.
Yeah, what's not on there are all the blitzes that Forte has picked up. He's a hard man to take off the field. Remember, though, they lost Mike Bell, their backup halfback, and they're looking to find out who replaces Forte when he needs a break.
5 in the pattern. Forte out of the backfield to the 5-yard line.
It's a little angle route by Forte out of the backfield. Zone defense. Watch Forte with Bennett, number 83, clearing out the deep zone. Just a little angle route underneath. Good north-south running by Forte, setting up a 3rd down.
Been watching Michael Ola, 70, playing the right tackle spot here for the Bears because Jordan Mills is out, and the rookie out of Hampton has done a nice job. He played for Mark Trestman in Montreal with the Alouettes. On 3rd and goal, Cutler with time. Rocket to the end zone. Touchdown, Brandon Marshall. Touchdown, Chicago.
You got to give Cutler credit, certainly, but it's all pass protection. Jay Cutler has had a chance to stand back there and survey his progressions all night. Look at Long. Look at Slauson at left guard. Just good pass protection, and you saw number 70. Michael Ola clean up, and Brandon Marshall makes a nice second reaction play for the Bears, and they're on the board. Most improved part of this Bear football team is the offensive line, and they showed it there in some critical passing situations.
Again, that 33-yard extra point. Robbie Gould with the new holder and snapper combo. Because the punters and the holders here, as they are in most places. It looks really good there. 10 plays and 85 yards, capped off by Brandon Marshall. Productive every place he has been. Big numbers with Alshon Jeffrey last year. And John, as we look at the numbers, 2nd for wide receiver combo, they complement each other so well, push each other to get better, and their competition has really been a collaboration and very successful. The rookie Storm Johnson fumbled it, picked it up and took it out to the 32. Flag is down as Ryan Mundy brings down the rookie Johnson.
Take a look at Alshon Jeffrey at the top of the screen. Marshall at the bottom. They work together. Marshall clears out the deep zone, and Jeffrey's wide open. And then on a touchdown pass, Marshall keeping things alive. He and Jay Cutler work on these second reaction scramble drill plays repeatedly throughout the offseason, and I can't tell you how different I see Brandon Marshall now than I saw him 4 or 5 years ago. And the same with Jay Cutler. They both matured into really great pro football players behind the scenes. I'm really impressed by that, Mike.
From the 12 gun, here is Jordan Todman. Good energy around the right side, but runs into Shark McManus. Another penalty flag down at the spot of the block. Let's see if this one comes back. Holding on the kickoff for the Jaguars. Started them back inside their own 15.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Number 73 defense. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Again, it's the third time we've seen that call tonight. That's Austin Lane, and he and the second team Bears defense in on this drop.
Yeah, anything at or near the head area is going to be called, and Austin Lane, the ex-Jacksonville Jaguar, gets caught. Look at these two new safeties. Adrian Wilson has just checked into the game, number 44, 35 years old. He'll be in October, the ex-Arizona Cardinal great.
Henny on the boot, throws complete, and Alan Hearns of the flag down, taken down by Kelvin Hayden. This is starting to look like the flag fest that was the Bears-Eagles Week 1 preseason game.
Prior to the pass, holding number 76 defense. That penalty's declined. The result of the play, first down.
That's on Trevor Scott. If you didn't watch Week 1 preseason games, you see the official-to-official communication devices in Carl Sheffer's ear and all the other officials. They're able to speak with each other. Don't have to run 30 yards for a conference. Should improve communication and eventually speed up the process of some of the administration of fouls. Todman to his right, brought down by Sharek McManus out of Northwestern.
I don't want to overkill this position, but the safety group of the Bears is a huge question mark. Right now, the rookie, Rock Perrine, their 4th-round draft choice, is teamed up with Adrian Wilson, a 14-year veteran. They must solidify their opening day starters at safety.
On 2nd and 9, Henny being chased by Trevor Scott and run out of bounds by the veteran. And John, when we talked about the projected starters for the Bears on defense and went across Houston and Allen, the guys who were the big free agency acquisitions in the middle, Lance Briggs in the linebacking corps, Shea McClellan trying to make the transition from defensive end. But in this secondary, you couldn't project starters. From all the conversation, it seems like they feel good about Monday and have no idea who else will be back there.
And they have a lot of candidates. You said it. I don't think they have any idea who those opening day starters will be yet.
They're down, and Henny throws incomplete, intended for Mike Brown. And the pressure came from Trevor Scott, who had back-to-back nice plays to force Jacksonville off the field and punting for the first time tonight.
And Brian Anger, the punter of the Jaguars, has to have a tired leg because he has punted a lot the last 2 years. They drafted him high a couple years ago. People questioned that, but when you look at the amount of punts and how good he's punted, he's worth the pick.
Taken with a 3rd-round pick in 2012. 91 punts 2 years ago, was the 2nd most in the league. 95 last year was the most. Not only does he kick often, he kicks well. That will be down inside the 10. And we'll see if the Bears turn to another key story in their season. who will be the backup for Jay Cutler. Who's the backup quarterback for the Bears? Luke McCown in Tampa. Jimmy Clausen has a chance to win the job. You remember him from just over at Notre Dame, where he had great success with Charlie Weiss, 3-year starter, second-round pick for the Panthers. That was the year that the Panthers just hit rock bottom. They won 2 games. He started 10 of them, was 1-9. Then they drafted Cam Newton with the #1 pick, and Clausen was the backup. Did not play, hasn't thrown a pass in a regular season game in 3 years. Had a very good camp last year in Carolina, but then got injured at the end of the preseason and was out for the entire 2013 campaign. Pass there to Shane Drone, who runs to the 30-yard line and near a first down.
Well, Clausen's a very good intermediate passer, Mike. He likes this offense. He belongs in an offense with distinct progressions. There is no gray area with Mark Trestman. Remember, at Notre Dame, he played for an offensive hands-on coach in Charlie Weiss. The hands-on offensive style of Mark Trestman will bring the best of Jimmy Clausen out. So will his supporting cast.
I said past the 30, my mistake. Just past the 20 at the 21. It's a first-team offensive line for the most part with the backup skill players. And Drone continues to show well. He's played with the Chiefs for a couple of seasons. Baltimore last year. Good running back here for the Bears.
That's that old school draw. Watch the Pro Bowl left tackle, Jermon Bushrod, act like it's a draw. Then he takes off, blocks the second level. And Jimmy Clausen has audibled to both of these running plays, Mike. He's using a dummy snap count. He's using the entire 40-second shot clock to get Chicago in an optimum play. And that's another sign of what Mark Trestman does with his quarterbacks. He educates them to get them in the best possible play. So far, he's done it twice.
First throw here for Clausen. It's complete to Michael Spurlock, who takes a big hit from Jonathan Cyprien, the safety. When we asked both Mark Trestman, the coach, and Jay Cutler about the third receiver position, immediately the name of Spurlock, the veteran out of Ole Miss, came up. He's had a good camp.
Yes, he has. He's a good return man as well. And Marquise Wilson, last year's 7th-round draft choice, was doing well also, but he got hurt. And Spurlock has taken advantage of the opportunities.
Right left.
Second and 6, spin move by Clemens. He almost got to Clausen, who hangs in there and completes it to Josh Bellamy for the first down. We have another flag down. Stop me if you've heard that before.
We got Dwayne Gratz that time.
Pass interference, number 27 defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, first down.
There's Chris Clemens on a spin move against Bushrod. Bushrod overset him a little bit. And Clemens has quietly been one of the best pass rushers in the AFC in recent years. I was going to say the NFC Seahawks, and he's brought that skill to Jacksonville.
He turned 33 in October.
Wait. 54. Ram.
Identifying Nate Stupar, 54 in the middle of the defense. Clausen fires right, back shoulder throw. And Bellamy didn't bring it in, but another flag towards Gratz.
Pass interference, number 27 defense. Automatic, first down.
He was asking how.
Well, it's bump and run coverage, and it's a double move to the outside. And
he wanted the push off on the back shoulder as Bellamy, the first-year player out of Louisville, was coming back for the ball.
54 stitch.
They're making their point perfectly clear to me tonight, Mike.
I tell you, been emphasized to you. The time Gratz comes up on the run stop and tackles Drone. Let me talk for a second, John, because you mentioned Gus Bradley. Oh, I'm sorry, there's another flag on the play. You mentioned Gus Bradley, the Seattle influence. What's so good about Seattle? Tremendous corner play, big corners. Do you have that here, and can you have that type of defense without those stud corners?
Well, I don't think it can be as good without those great corners. Those are
Personal
great.
foul, crackback block. Number 19 offense, 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
Those are great secondary people, not just on the corner position. Earl Thomas, as good as there is in the middle of that defense. Cam Chancellor's outstanding, and they can rush the passer with proven pass rushers. So they've got a long way to go to get to that level, but you have to like the improvement that they've made. These are all second-year players. Gratz, McCray, 35, Cyprian, 37. Give them some time before you say how good they are.
The penalty on Josh Morgan makes it 1st and 25. That's how Clemens held up on the inside move. Check down to Drone. The gain is 12. This will probably come back for a look to be a hold on the left tackle, Bushrod, 74.
Well, they've got 8 officials here tonight, Mike, and
Yes,
every
they
one
do.
of them has
Yes,
had a
they do.
chance to get involved. I'm glad they don't have 8 for every game.
Yeah, John, we have 8 officials in half the preseason games this week.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, number 74 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
3 hands to the face penalties in this game. I get nervous around Jerry Austin, just one official, let alone 8.
Jerry was the referee in a couple of Super Bowls, our Monday Night Football officiating expert, if you will. We'll ask Jerry a bit later on about what has happened here with the 8 official experiment
55 splitting.
before half the preseason games this year and what they're trying to do. 1st and 35. And the screen is blown up as it was covered well by the Jaguars. Here is Jerry. Happy season. Good to have you back. Why we have 8 instead of 7?
Well, the 8th is to cover that area across the middle behind the line of scrimmage on defense, because receivers going across the middle being hit in the past and no one's picking that up or covering that area. Also, it gives the line judge the opportunity to focus on the tackles blocking whenever you got trips in the offense.
And they've done this some in college, experiment and work with 8 officials in games as well.
Most of the college conferences are using 8 this year.
NFL not going to use it for the regular season, experimenting with it in the preseason. And that pass is caught by Matthew Mulligan, who has no gain. Dwayne Gratz with the tackle. Thank you, Jerry. Jerry's with us every week. I know, John, you're happy of one more official to
Well, after
work
7
with on the
straight
sideline.
penalties, I didn't even know what down it was, Mike. Love the officials. A lot of hard work has gone into this, and this is their time of year too, Mike. Players and officials need the preseason to get themselves ready. But boy, have they been busy.
That pass was caught by Matthew Mulligan. The tight end Zach Miller played so well for the Bears last week. Came off earlier in this drive and just went off on a cart a moment ago. And they were looking at his foot. 3rd and 35. Drone gets some of it back, about 9. Telvin Smith and Andre Branch with the tackle, and after the many flags, the Bears will finally punt.
You know, Andre Branch, we watched him coming out of Clemson a couple years ago, and people criticized his effort. They criticized his motor. Now I think he leads the Jaguars in effort. That time he came out of the stack and made a beautiful effort play to bring the ball carrier down.
Tress Way in this punting competition, who has had some consistency. He was in the Bears camp last year. Every kick crucial and every center snap as well. But the Bears look for that position. And Way not able to pin them back inside the 15 or the 10 there. Just the 21-yard line, only 30 yards of net. And a disappointing kick. Trying to win a job here tonight. Will we see Bortles next?
Give me this quarterback here. You
Yes,
know
sir.
this one?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Why would I say that?
Size, physical,
Yeah.
stature.
Nobody. He's Mr. Anonymous
He's
from
from
Ohio.
Miami
No one
of
even knew
Ohio.
how to say Roethlisberger. Try
Right.
saying Blake Bortles 5 times fast, can you?
Can
Let's
I?
hear you do it.
Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles,
Yeah.
Blake Bortles.
That's what people got to start saying, man, because you remind me of Ben Roethlisberger.
We're just going to say it once. Blake Bortles, he's in at quarterback for the Jaguars as they take over at their 25-yard line. The first quarterback taken in the spring draft. Pitched it to Jordan Todman, who gains about 5 yards. So the plan was to play Bortles in the second half, Chad Henne in the first half. But with 30 snaps of offense with Henne in the first team, we get to see Bortles a bit early.
And you get to see him potentially in a 2-minute drill. Here he is in a no-huddle offense.
And his throw is incomplete at the feet of Mike Brown. Bortles 7 of 11 looked good in his preseason debut against Tampa last week.
Well, Bortles has prototype size, 6'5", 230 pounds. He's got pocket presence. He has instincts. He's athletic for his size. He can scramble. He really never had a full-time quarterback coach at Central Florida. They are working hard to refine his fundamentals. He got off to a good start last week. That was a bad throw.
He's working against the Bears' second-team defense. On 3rd and 5, this throw's a good one. Kerry Taylor carries the first down to the 46-yard line.
That time Jacksonville jumped into a bunch formation. 3 receivers scattered in different directions. And Chicago blew a coverage, and here comes Bortles in the no-huddle offense.
16-yard pickup on the last one. And Todman looking for space, and there's none there. As Austin Lane was there to make the play.
One thing they want to see Bortles do is fix plays that are broken. That time he ran a one-back power play into a loaded box. Jed Fish wants to see Blake Bortles do some of the things that Chad Henne does. Clean up problems, audible, hand signals, keep the offense in optimum play selection. Let's see if Bortles is graduated in terms of his decision-making at the line of scrimmage.
Denard Robinson, former Michigan quarterback, is now the running back. Bortles out of the pocket on the move. That looks good. And the completion of Mike Brown into the secondary. Brown to the 30-yard line. That was a good-looking gain of 25 as we hit the 2-minute warning in Chicago.
That was a bullet from Orlando. Rolling to his right. Roethlisberger reminds me of Roethlisberger, Mike.
It does. Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles, Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
See the Blake Bortles numbers at Central Florida, 22-5, some bowl victories as well. George O'Leary, his coach down there. John, watch the play he makes here to get the first down.
Oh, it's a tight window throw and move him to your right. You can't throw the ball much better than Bortles threw that corner route to Mike Brown. He's a big, physical man with athletic ability, and he is tough.
Shea McClellan there in on coverage and continue to try to experiment with McClellan. Try to figure out if he can look comfortable in that role. Bortles didn't set his foot, and the pass is incomplete. You made the Roethlisberger comparison in your Gruden quarterback camp.
Well, watch him play. Watch his throw against Tulsa in the USA Conference Championship game. Running to his left. How many guys can do that? That's awesome. Ben Roethlisberger, he used to do me like this. Getting out of trouble, running to his left, 6'5", 235, flicking the ball away from the grain, touchdown. He reminds me of a young Roethlisberger. They both came from nowhere and exploded onto the scene fast. I think this kid has a big upside.
Second and 10. Todman didn't secure the handoff between he and Bortles and falls on it.
It's a critical mistake. Good field position, a chance to get something before the half, and Blake Bortles has to take responsibility for every exchange.
Mark Trestman running out to the official to get timeout with 1:46 to go. You mentioned, John, the situation with Roethlisberger coming from nowhere. Remember, as he got to Miami of Ohio, even on his high school team, he was a wide receiver, so was not heavily recruited as a quarterback. Bortles in a similar situation out of high school, not highly ranked. Not a lot of teams were looking for him to be a quarterback. Some offered him as a tight end. Turned out pretty well for Central Florida and maybe for the Jags. Time coming up in a few minutes with Chris Berman back at the studio. Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter will have their insider notes. We'll have the latest on the quarterback situation. Browns deciding how they're going to handle Monday, and the SportsCenter recap of the day's events all ahead. This is 3rd and 15. It is Todman on the screen, chased down by Will Sutton. He is the 3rd-round draft pick out of Arizona State. A bit hobbled after he made the play to the 25, and Chicago takes its 2nd timeout before 4th down.
That was a good call to set up Scobie. Predictable zone coverage situation. You call a screen pass, and Scobie, who has been arguably the MVP of the Jaguars on the games that we've done Jacksonville over the years, Mike, he has made some big kicks.
All-time leader in points for the Jaguars, good from 49 and 25. The 11th year kicker will try one here from 43. And the operation to perfection. And 3 added. 3rd field goal for Scobie. And it's 16-7 for the Jaguars. Minute 31 left, and obviously Trestman using the timeouts. He'll get a chance to see Jimmy Clausen now in a 2-minute drill. And you said it over the years in these preseason games, John. You can replicate some stuff in your training camp, but there are certain things in game situations that look like the best exam, and 2-minute offense is exactly one.
We hear all these coaches talking about situational football all the time. This is a critical situation, a 2-minute drill for a young quarterback, certainly. But it also applies to the Jaguars, Mike. Gus Bradley, David Caldwell, the general manager, went out and tried to improve the pass rush. Jacksonville was one of the worst teams in terms of getting to the quarterback, so this gives the Jaguar defense an opportunity to unleash their rush and check in on their 2-minute defense. So both coaches, I'm sure, are eager to see who can handle it and who can't, because roster cut down is coming in just shortly.
Each team will get down to 75 on August 26th before that last preseason game. And then, of course, 53. The season starts 3 weeks from tonight. Green Bay in Seattle for the opener. Eric Weems fumbled earlier. His kick return shy of the 20. And Lisa's standing by with one of the new Jaguars.
Thank you, Mike. Toby, you're replacing the guy who was the face of the Jaguars and Maurice Jones-Drew. What's that transition been like for you?
It's big shoes to fill. You know, I don't know if I can ever replace Maurice, but just going out there doing my best and trying to help this team.
We didn't really get to see a lot of you in Minnesota because you were playing behind one of the best in the game, Adrian Peterson. What did you learn from Adrian there?
You know, I learned really how to be a professional on and off the field, how to work hard in the offseason and carry the load.
And finally, you played with Andrew Luck at Stanford. You're playing with another guy, highly touted, Blake Bortles. A lot of high expectations for him in Jacksonville. Can you compare the two? How would you compare the two, if at all?
Yeah, you know, they're both prototypical pro-style quarterbacks. Tall, got the size, good arms. Blake makes great reads, and as he learns and grows in this offense, I think he's going to be special.
All right, thank you, Toby. Good luck in Jacksonville.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike?
All right, Lisa, good to hear from Toby there. And offside on the kickoff, added 5 yards to the spot. That pass for Josh Bellamy was too tall. As this 2-minute drill starts with Jimmy Clausen.
4 defensive ends on the field for Gus Bradley's Jaguars. Number 90, Andre Branch. 59, Ryan Davis. You see Clemens, 91. Their rookie 5th-round pick, Chris Smith, playing inside. These are 4 defensive ends on the field in a predictable passing situation to improve the Jaguars' rush. Let's see if they can do it.
Doing it against the Bears' backup offensive line. Flagged down his drone chase for 8. Nearly 9 yards. Nate Stupar, Gino Hayes making the tackle.
Use their hands to the face. Number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's the rookie Michael Ola.
That's the 5th hands to the face penalty tonight. I don't think I've seen 5 hands to the face penalties in 3 years. Good call. It's a good call.
And why they came in, obviously all the situations with head injuries and the great awareness of that had become a part of your repertoire in moves to get that hand up to the face area and that jar push back. And they want to take that out of the game for player safety, and that's why it's a point of emphasis. No change in the rule necessarily, but clean it up. And that message being seen often with the flags here in the preseason. So from the 13, Clausen swinging it out. The busy drone will get 2 yards. Dwayne Gratz has a lot of starters still out there for the Jaguars defense.
And Jimmy Clausen has been victimized by penalties. And when you fall behind in the down and distance, you get some impossible coverage to throw at. That time, the Jaguars dropped the defensive linemen. They had 8 men in coverage. 3rd down and 19. I'll let you call these plays, Mike.
Saw the 3rd and 35 screen they ran earlier just to get some yardage. Clausen for the 16 will draw with drone. And well short of the first down at the 27-yard line. With a minute left here, and Gus Bradley will use a timeout. Chance to get the ball back one more time in a 2-minute situation for his rookie Bortles. So, John, it's the conversation we were watching Monday Night Countdown before with the guys in the studio, Keyshawn, Tommy Jackson, Chris Carter, and Coach Ditka and Boomer, talking about what are you doing here? You take the number 3 overall pick with Blake Bortles. Why don't you just throw him in? Because that's become the way of the NFL lately, is rookie quarterbacks play right away. What's your read as we talked to the Jaguars about that very topic last night?
I think they're content on just waiting until Blake Bortles assures them that he has a handle on this entire offense. My only question is, with the new CBA and the reduction of the reps that you get on the practice field, is how do you develop a young quarterback without letting them become the starter?
As a great kick, flag is that Patrick O'Donnell trying to win the punting job. They've been calling a mega punt during the training camp for the Bears, and he just hit a rocket.
Holding. Number 56, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
51-yard kick. And the Roy Reynolds flag with the hold there will give Bortles really poor field position.
You see Jed Fish talking with Blake Bortles. It's a process of, you have to play faster at this level than you did at college. And I'm not just talking about physical quickness, your setups, your decision making, mental quickness. And you need reps. And the accumulation of reps is where you develop. But with the new bargaining agreement the way it is, there's not as many practices. They're not as long. It's hard to get one quarterback ready to play, let alone the 3rd pick in the draft. So that's what Gus Bradley, David Caldwell are wrestling with. How do we fast track Bortles? We're going to say the same thing next week when we see Manziel.
The 13, that pass is in play to the 18-yard line. Just a short gain with Todman. Only one timeout for the Jaguars in 35 seconds on the turning clock. Time here for Bortles. Again, it is Todman. That's what the Bears are giving him. Got the first down, and now a timeout taken by Gus Bradley with 19 seconds remaining. And to your point about the CBA, just think about the regular season. And now training camp is done, and you start game prep here in a couple of weeks. Once you get to that point, the starter needs all the reps because of the multiplicity of offense and the defense you're facing that week. So the only time you can get for your backup quarterback is running the scout team to get him his snaps. And is that really helping the development of a quarterback?
No, that's not your offense.
Right.
In the old days, you could say, hey, we're going to take Bortles out there today. We're going to give him 6 red zone passes at the 12-yard line. Then we're going to give him 6 3rd down and 8s. Then we're going to make him audible 4 or 5 times. But no more. If you make Henne the starter, those reps are diminished. And you're really saying Bortles will be the guy potentially next year.
19 seconds left from the 27-yard line. No timeouts. So that's in play with Mike Brown. It's complete, and it'll be close to ending the half here. Try to kill it. And they did. 1 second remaining. So we'll get one last play here to end the half.
And look on that Jaguar sideline. Every one of these veteran players is watching this carefully. They all want to know what we have here. Do we have the next Roethlisberger? Can Blake Bortles win the job? These players want to know who their starting quarterback is going to be, just like we do.
Most important guy in the building. It's said over and over. You're giving the keys to a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Final play of the half, and wide open with space to run is Allen Hurns. But the Bears have dropped back deep. The safeties and Adrian Wilson makes the play. That'll look nice for Blake Bortles' stats here in the preseason. Game 1, preseason week 2 of the 2014 season here in Chicago. Jaguars lead the Bears 16-7. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters, our Monday night team, back at it and back at work. This second week of the preseason, John, you've gotten all the systems in place. Camp has ended for most of these teams. So this is the time when jobs are won or lost. People are playing for their professional careers in the next 30 minutes of football.
That's right. And a lot of people lose sight of that, but Mark Trestman, the head coach of the Bears, told us a lot of guys are going to make our team in the fourth quarter. That involves special teams, offense, defense, you name it. And they're looking for versatility. You're looking for an offensive tackle that can play both positions, a center that can play guard. You're looking for a linebacker that can play multiple positions. Some of these receivers and running backs have to contribute on special teams. You said it. These are big moments for a lot of guys right now.
And we'll see more of Blake Bortles and Jimmy Clausen as they go through their quarterback battle. On each side, Bortles trying to figure out how close he is to the number 1 spot. Clausen trying to win the number 2 job. Jordan Palmer is the other man in question. Kickoff from Jacksonville by Casey Redfern, the other kicker in camp, and Michael Spurlock with the return. He brings it just out across the 10-yard line. Let's go check in with Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mark, well, I just finished talking to Mark Trestman, who said that it was really the Jags offense that controlled the ball, as we know, in that first quarter. So he got to see a lot of his defense. He said defensively we did pretty well. We stopped the run. I could feel the pass rush, but penalties really kept us from doing what we wanted to do. Once the offense did get on the field, he said that he liked what he saw. He felt that the pass protection was very good. Would like to run the ball a little bit better. As for the Jaguars, I asked about Blake Bortles. I asked Gus Bradley how long he's going to play. He said probably well into the fourth quarter. It was good to see him in a 2-minute situation. He thought that Bortles did well in that. In fact, he said he thought the entire team started well, good energy, but he was very quick to add, it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish.
All right, Lisa. So we'll look for more Bortles here in the second half. Sloppy snap to start, and Clausen falls on it to lose a couple of yards. Starters up right until that first half point for Jacksonville. You see more second teamers in this third quarter. Clausen got hit as he threw it, but completed it. Goes to the 20-yard line for Josh Morgan, trying to win a receiver's spot.
Look at these audibles, Mike. Recognizing the coverage, making sure that every play is communicated properly. This is good stuff. This is the kind of things that you want your quarterback to be able to do. Recognize fronts, coverages. Make sure you don't waste plays.
Third and 1, and Clausen will throw, and it is caught. Held on to. Great job going up to bring it down by Morgan. And the veteran who was last with the Redskins keeps the drive alive with a first down.
You know, Josh Morgan 2 years ago led the Redskins in receiving. A corner route, nice touch over the underneath coverage, and Josh Morgan goes up and gets it, and he protects the ball on impact. Just a simple corner route, breaking over his outside shoulder. Josh Morgan making a case for becoming the third receiver of the Bears.
Pro Bowlers at the 1 and 2 spot, but who will be in that next group? With 38, Clausen pressured and brought down at Ziggy Hood.
Hood.
Yeah, the former Steeler. Penalty flag down to continue the theme for the first half, but Ziggy Hood added to this team. It's the 32nd pick of the 2009 draft. He's got to make a transition here after leaving the Pittsburgh 3-4 defense.
Illegal contact, number 35 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Demetrius McCray flag there, erases the would-be sack by Hood.
Remember studying Ziggy Hood at Missouri. He was a 3 technique, a defensive tackle that played on the outside shoulder of the guard, drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers to play in a different scheme, a 3-4 defense. I think Hood is going to find a home in Jacksonville at a position that seems very natural for him. An inside pass rusher on the outside shoulder of the guard.
This is Kadeem Carey, rookie out of Arizona, the 4th round pick. We'll see a lot of him here in the second half. You know, John, you talked about Red Bryant coming in and Chris Clemens. A couple of draft picks there, Ziggy Hood, Derek Marks we didn't mention in the first half. They also have the first rounder that they took here in Jacksonville a few years ago.
Alou
on the defensive line. They've got a lot of folks to rotate on that D-line.
And Paul Posluszny was 2nd in the NFL with 160 tackles. He's probably watching smiling right now because these big defensive linemen will keep him clean.
2nd and 8, good pocket there. Clausen's pass is deflected and intercepted. Pulled down by Josh Evans, the second-year man out of Florida, coming up with the pick and brought down at the 46-yard line. Fighting for the ball on the back end turns into a bit of a skirmish, and a flag is thrown as the players didn't separate. Matthew Mulligan from the Bears, last one off the ground. The tip, it might have been Telvin Smith. We'll get a look at the replay who had the tip of the Clausen pass dropping in coverage. It was Smith.
After the interception and after the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 36 of the intercepting team. 15-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
So it'll be on the Jaguars, tipped by Smith, the 5th round draft pick, Florida State. And Knoll tipped it, a Gator caught it. Josh Evans with the pick for the Jaguars. Numbers for Blake Bortles in the first half. John, what did you see?
Oh, he showed some good pocket presence, accurate throws, showed a little mobility getting out here on a bootleg to his right side, completed a pass in a tight window.
Hands off there to Denard Robinson, who gains 9 yards on that run. Robinson's a quarterback we saw a lot more of during his college days than you did Bortles at UCF, whereas Robinson was the quarterback at Michigan. Had some highlight moments, especially early on his seasons. Drafted in the 5th round last year, and the search for what position he would play here in the NFL. They feel much more comfortable about his ability as a running back. But through this camp in the first preseason game, and 2 carries there gets the first down.
Well, it's about the 10th time I've seen the Bears blitz their weak side linebacker. That time, Jacksonville runs a weak lead right at Shea McClellan, and Robinson cuts it back for a first down. But Robinson has finally found a home at the running back position. He moved everywhere last year, Mike. He played receiver, covered kicks, and he had a hard time hanging on to the ball.
Yeah, he was battling that ulnar nerve injury that really stopped his quarterback career back in October of 2012. Bortles out of the pocket, throws complete to Kerry Taylor, who's out of bounds with a gain of about 9.
Watch Bortles in this no-huddle offense. Call the formation, give everybody the play, use a dummy snap count. Bortles rolling to his left, good read, good decision, nice throw. See if he gets to a pass here. The Bears have loaded the front, one-on-one coverage. Take a shot.
These are the things you want to see as a coach. Does he have the system intelligence to take the defense and use it against them?
He just signaled up top. Slant and go.
That way is covered, comes back to the other side to Taylor, catches it. And that's a check, check, check all the way down the evaluation on that play right there.
Well, he saw the loaded box. We saw it up here, and Jed Fish gives him the full authority to look off the free safety and get after the one-on-one coverage. Great throw by Bortles.
Gain of 29. Bears shuttling personnel. The backups in, as we said, for Chicago. Denard Robinson has blockers. And Robinson hit at the 13. Keeps going. He's finally brought down. Al Lewis Jean leading the charge for the Bears, along with Kasim Green, their 4th-round pick last year.
We talked about who is the middle linebacker of the Chicago Bears. Brian Urlacher not coming back. All the rumors last year. DJ Williams appears to have locked down the middle linebacker position in their base defense, but John Bostic, their 2nd-year man from Florida, is a young man they want to see in their sub-defense on the field. But he's got to communicate, just like Bortles does, to his fellow defensive player.
Robinson lost it, got it back, cut it back to the 11. Gain of 4. You just mentioned Bostic on the Bears defense. We have Robinson here. 2nd-year players, John. I know it's always a focus of yours in the preseason.
Used to walk in the team meeting and challenge all our 2nd-year players. You've been through training camp. You've seen the off-season program. You've been a pro for a year. You know the system of football. Now go out there and show us how much you've improved. And the Bears need Kasim Green and Jonathan Bostic, the players you just talked about, to step up. It's their time now.
3rd and 3. Robinson releases out of the backfield. Bortles, the slant, well covered by Sherrick McManus out of Northwestern. Pass was intended for Taylor. And we'll see Scobie in a field goal attempt for the backup, Redfern.
I thought it was a good play by McManus. That's where you miss the big receivers, Mike. You miss the Justin Blackmon. You miss the Allen Robinson, your 2nd-round draft choice, that 6'3" red zone target on plays like that.
Casey Redfern, who is doing some punting and some kicking, the rookie out of Wofford, with an attempt at 29 yards. Made a short one against Tampa Bay from 26 yards last week. That's a 29 here. 19-7, Jacksonville. Historic colonnades in the south wall that still remain at Soldier Field, which opened in 1924 when they refurbished it. More of a spaceship-looking edifice. They retained that historic portion of Soldier Field. Already a dozen years since they refurbished Soldier Field. Opened up on a Monday night, 2003. Remember that year the Bears played in Champaign in 2002, the University of Illinois. Casey Redfern will get the kickoff opportunity. Michael Ford trying to find a way to make this roster with the return. That's not the way. Ball brought just past the 10. We saw Weems fumble it earlier, but he's experienced. But the divine Devin Hester, the return magic he had for 8 years here at Chicago, tying the NFL record, John. 19 returns, tied with Deion Sanders. He'll try to break it in Atlanta as a Falcon. We saw him on a bunch of Monday nights with some magic moments.
We sure did. He's a hard man to replace. Anxious to see how he likes that dome in Atlanta, Georgia, Mike.
An NFL record, 13 punt returns, tied to that combined mark. Interesting, with the kickoff spot moved, less of a return factor with the kickoffs. Some feel that that return position is not as valuable as it once was. Ball comes out of the hands of the receiver, Josh Bellamy. And it's Jacksonville ball. Alan Bradford was in there and perhaps knocked it free. Let's take a look. Now before he's down, to see if when that hip came down, if he still had a lock on it.
You're going to see a challenge flag, I believe, Mike.
A turnover, so they'll look at it automatically.
That's right.
In the replay. I think the first look at that lead to believe that his hip was down. The question is, where will we see the ball? In the hands of the receiver, Bellamy.
Ruling on the field is a runner fumbled the ball. It was recovered by the defense. That ruling is under review.
All right, so that review takes place. We'll step out for a moment and give us a chance to talk about how the replay system will be a little bit different in the NFL this season. You see the ball moved a bit, but he had both hands on it. They'll look at it here and elsewhere. We'll talk about that. We'll tell you who has the ball when we come back. turnover automatically goes to replay to be confirmed or not. It was not confirmed. Need a second look. So the replay official here working with Carl Sheffers, the referee. And I've got Jerry Austin here, our referee, to bring in to talk about the adjustment in this system, that there's another set of eyes looking at this as we get to the regular season in the league command center in New York with Vice President of Officiating Dean Blandino and Al Riveron, former on-field official, now working in the office.
After review, the runner was down by contact prior to losing control of the ball. It will be Chicago's ball, 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line.
As we look at this, and it will stay with the Bears, Jerry, let's just talk about the procedure of having New York involved in these replay situations going forward this year.
In all ball games, New York will review it. They're going to function as a consultant to the referee and the replay booth at the game site. They're going to take a look at it. One of the things they can do is make sure that they're looking at the entire play so they see all aspects. Sometimes when you're focused on one part of the play, you miss another part of the play. So that is just a backup system for replay.
That'll be in all the regular season games, monitored from the command center in New York. The rookie carry with the run, gain of about 10, near a first down. Jerry, one last point on the new change in the replay system, having the league office in New York as part of the process. Do you think the on-field officials will like that part of the equation going forward?
I don't think it. The on-field official has always wanted to get the call right. That's why they favored replay. And I think if this will assist in getting the call right, that's what they want to do. Now they're going to keep the referee involved, which is an important aspect, so that he knows how to present it once the decision is made.
All right, thank you, Jerry. We'll keep an eye on that as the season goes on. Carey with the run for a couple of yards.
I like Carey. A lot of yards this kid made at Arizona. Led the nation over the last 2 years. Almost 3,800 yards this kid gained. But he went to the combine. He didn't run fast. Then he didn't run real fast at his workout. Chicago says, okay, we'll take you in the 4th round. And all he's done is impress people so far in his camp.
That time runs right into Leroy Reynolds, flying through for the loss.
Look at this kid, Kadeem Carey out of Arizona. The Wildcats' all-time leading rusher in Rich Rodriguez spread attack. He's got very good vision. He's a good pass receiver. He can pick up blitzes. He's got perfect NFL size. The only thing he doesn't have is home run speed, but he's got quickness and vision, and he's a decisive back, and he's taking care of the ball.
At 40 time, 4.7, was 27th of the 35 running backs involved in the combine. Clausen's throw, juggled and incomplete, as Bellamy's had a tough time a couple of times securing the grab.
That's a great throw by Jimmy Clausen. I've seen him complete that on the practice field at Jeffrey and Marshall. Back shoulder fade, ball's thrown perfectly, and Bellamy needs to make that play. That might be a challenge, Jerry. We can bring you back in, Jerry.
See that bobble right there at the end?
He did not secure the ball until he had hit out of bounds. They may challenge it, but I believe this would be a challenge they would lose.
Mark Trestman throws the challenge flag.
I remember Tim Brown. He would always say, challenge it, Grew, challenge it, Grew. And if I didn't challenge it, he'd be mad. So you throw the flag when your receiver says he made the catch.
Chicago is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
That's a good challenge, Jerry. There's been 27 penalties. Challenge one.
It's a good challenge, but he was out of bounds.
On the ground, completing the process of the catch. Did it or did it not happen? Covers the referee under the hood. And when they went under the hood, this is what he was looking at. And you'll hear Carl's result. With the punt team on the field.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver lost possession of the ball. It is incomplete. 4th down.
You have to complete the process of the catch. I know, Mike.
Going to the ground, right?
Yes, you do. Good call by the officials there.
It's a bad challenge, too, on your own sideline. You can't have that. Again, the punting battle for the Bears. Tress Way sends Chad Hall scurrying to the 20 to catch it, get up, and get hit, and flags join. The end of the play. Hall, fourth year out of Air Force, just signed a week ago. Good hang time with a 50-yard kick by Tress Way. Well, some folks who believe both of these Bears kickers could end up on a team somewhere. One will win the job. One could be picked up elsewhere as an upgrade.
Back. Number 31 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
There's a lot of different things a punter does. It's not all about average. Can you down it inside the 10? Can you hold for extra points and field goals? O'Donnell kicked 4 years at the University of Cincinnati and finished up at Miami. He was the holder. He's got a lot of experience. I think he's going to be a hard man to beat out.
And a draft pick as well. Way has been in the camp back-to-back years for the Bears. Jaguars a little confused with personnel. Chad Bumpus joins the play late. Swing out to Storm Johnson, who was the running back at UCF with Bortles. So they've done that a couple hundred times over the last few years in Orlando.
And this number 96 for the Bears, who just checked in, Christian Jones out of Florida State. Played defensive end for the Seminoles, played linebacker. We're going to find a spot for Christian Jones. He was undrafted for a lot of reasons, but he's had a good camp.
Denard Robinson using that quickness and elusiveness to get to the edge and get the first down. John, if Gerhart is the main back and Jordan Todman's the third down back, what kind of role do you see for Denard Robinson in the Jaguars' main offense this year?
A creative role, Mike. You're going to see him as a wildcat quarterback. You'll see him catch the ball out of the backfield. And they love him on these perimeter outside runs. He scored last week on a little flip play against Tampa Bay, but you see the 4.4 acceleration. And don't forget, this kid can throw the football functionally out of the wildcat.
We saw over the years at Michigan as he's brought down by Demontre Hurst after the gain of 3 and an injury for Jacksonville. One of the players who's been working at center, the 6th-round pick, Luke Bowanko, is down for the Jaguars. And in the Jaguars center situation, Brad Meester, after a dozen years, retired. And with the struggles of Mike Brewster in week 1, they gave Brewster a quarter, Bowanko the second quarter at center, Brandon Linder, a rookie, for the third quarter, and Jacques McClendon for the fourth. But right now, everyone concerned with the 6th-round pick out of Virginia, injured on that play. Week 2 of the preseason. We'll see you from Washington on Monday night, 8 Eastern time for that one. 2nd and 7 after Luke Bowanko was helped off the field, and the pass by Bortles is incomplete. Luke Bowanko didn't put any pressure on that left foot. Looked like he got stepped on by one of his teammates who was engaged in a block with the Bears. If there's any good news, they're not looking at his knee at the moment. They're looking at his foot. Austin Pastor, the starting right tackle, was injured earlier for Jacksonville, a hand injury. And Brady Ewing, the fullback, injured his wrist here in the third quarter. So injuries mounting and piling up here in week 2 for the Jaguars. Wave going around the stadium. Less the noise on 3rd and 7. And Bortles' pass is caught, but Marcel Jensen, rookie free agent at Fresno State, will be short of the first down. Michael Spurlock will go back for the Bears. And Casey Redfern, who kicked a field goal earlier in this quarter, got a chance to put his punting talents on tape. .41 on the kick, nothing on the return. Decent hang time of 5 seconds, too, by Redfern. And Rashad Reynolds to the special teams tackle. What are you seeing from Bortles so far tonight, John?
Oh, he's done a nice job. He's made some nice throws in the pocket. Look at that vision, Mike. Resetting, finding his complementary receiver. He's thrown some nice shots down the field as well. Looked off the free safety and ripped his eyes back to the weak side. Nice touch and deep ball accuracy. He's missed a couple handoffs. Hasn't been perfect, but I've seen progress from the rookie.
New tools you brought.
I like that.
Tricks. I like your stuff here, John. Matthew Mulligan catches it for the Bears. Just across the 31-yard line. Chicago saw Zach Miller have a big impact game with a couple of touchdowns against the Eagles last week, but Miller was injured in that first half, a foot injury. And Kyle Fuller, if he just joins, the first-round pick, an ankle injury. Bears injuries thus far in the game tonight.
A lot more depth on this Jaguar defense. Tyson Alualu still in the ball game. Ziggy Hood. You need a lot of pass rushers when you play in the state of Florida in all that heat, and the Jaguars are deeper, Mike.
A good play on that defensive front to eliminate the game. You said that to Ziggy Hood right away when we met with him last night, or rather Red Bryant when we met with him last night.
Red Bryant,
he looks slim.
He's lost 17 pounds. He looks like Clemens now. I mean, Red Bryant has lost almost 20 pounds just trying to get himself ready to compete in the humidity in the state of Florida. And trust me, it's different. Not everybody can pull it off.
Clemens and Bryant, Super Bowl champions with the Seahawks. Now go to Jacksonville as free agents, make the money here, and see if they can make an impact. The Clausen throw is complete for the first down, up to the 44-yard line and brought in by Josh Morgan, the veteran.
I think Jimmy Clausen has been impressive tonight. He's been victimized by some penalties, a tip pass, but that's another nice throw into a tight window to keep the drive alive, and that's what Mark Trestman wants to see. Good decisions, tight window throws, and run a very sophisticated, extensive play list. The Bears do a lot on offense, Mike.
44-yard line, run between the tackles with Carey for 3. Hey, John, this is an important game, and the next one, obviously, is that dress rehearsal third game. Mark Trestman really wants to be secure with the number 2 quarterback. Jordan Palmer is the number 2 that you were thinking was going to be the backup through the late spring, and then they signed Clausen, brought him in, got a very good workout. Palmer, for tonight, will see the third team action as they try to make a decision who will be Jay Cutler's backup, because Cutler hasn't played a full 16-game season since 2009. Flushed and brought down is Clausen, and that's a guy who was the 10th pick in the draft, Alualu.
Tyson Alualu. Did a nice job keeping you in the pocket. Alualu, number 98 on the right side of your screen, just keeps it alive on an inside move. He's got long arms, great length and extension. Another third down and long.
Starter quality player.
Good player.
Working against backups, so you expect them to make plays, but it speaks to that depth we're talking about with this Jacksonville front. Gus Bradley off the Seattle experience, building that D-line. Clausen to Mulligan. To the 48. Half dozen shy of the first down. They'll kick it away.
That's cover 2 right there. 4-man rush. Force the quarterback to check it down and hustle to the ball. Good work by this Jacksonville defense, holding the Bears to 7 points tonight.
Really one drive for Chicago with their first team. It was a good drive, too, after a 3-and-out to begin. A 10-play, 85-yard drive with all their starters in. So O'Donnell now will get an opportunity to pin the Jaguars deep. At the 14-yard line, it's caught by Hall. And the third quarter comes to an end. Looking for positive momentum in your program, building things. And Jacksonville's getting a little bit more of that here tonight. And they got some in week 1 of the preseason as well. Quarter number 4 here at Soldier Field, Chicago. Mike Tirico, John Cruden, Lisa Salters. Our Monday Night Football team back with you as we will bookend week 2 of the preseason. Cleveland and Washington on Monday night. Jacksonville and Chicago to start it here tonight. And Blake Bortles, the first quarterback taken in the draft, number 3 overall, remains in the game for the Jaguars. And movement as this fourth quarter begins.
Starts, number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's what happens, Mike. You give your quarterback the opportunity to change plays. You put him in a check-with-me situation, run this play, check it with that play. It involves a lot of collective discipline. Your linemen have to be able to concentrate. And we've had some lapses tonight from both offensive lines in terms of penalties.
A continuing center story. Brandon Linder, the rookie, remains the center. Storm Johnson, good job by Washington to get a hand on him in the backfield and have some teammates come along to clean it up. Cornelius Washington started the play, finished off by Tracy Robertson.
Chicago continues to blitz the weak side linebacker, and if you run the ball right into the blitz, sometimes you have a wasted play, and Bortles has to be careful with a 12-point lead in this field position. I don't care if it is a preseason game.
Bootleg, putting it up, and on the sideline, it is out of bounds. Buffus couldn't get the second foot down. Bortles was pressured by David Bass.
I don't think that's my favorite Bortles play of the night. You run a bootleg from your own 5-yard line, and you throw the ball into 4 Chicago Bears with a 12-point lead. Be conservative. Make good decisions. This play could have been a catastrophe. 91 Bass is unblocked. You're under duress, and you throw the ball into a host of Chicago Bears. It was a great throw.
It was a heck of a throw.
It better be.
Pretty close to being inbounds, too.
It sure
was. A pretty
was.
darn good play. Wow.
You got to give a great player a little bigger yard to play in.
3rd and 19. Bortles steps up, takes off, slides the 14. Well shy of the first time. So you said something there. Okay, I know what the score is. I know you want to win. But do you want to see him backed up from his own 10 and just play it and not play to the score? Or do you want to play to the score?
I want to see him manage the offense, manage the situation.
Okay.
Backed up situation, 2nd down and 22-yard line. You're backed up into your own goal line. Be careful with a 12-point lead. But he did make a great throw. You're right. He shot that right back in my face, Mike.
Casey Redfern. A lot of real estate to work this punt. 52 yards. Spurlock from the 37. Return of a half dozen. Not the spirit of this Jaguar team. Janelle Fleming with the tackle. And Jordan Palmer will get the fourth quarter here for the Bears. Trying to put his claim in for the number 2 job. From Chicago, our ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Just you and the look you want. And NFLshop.com. Find the largest selection of jerseys and hats at the official store of the NFL. See that go JRWL? That's for the Little League team that's playing the Little League World Series. Jackie Robinson West Little League team representing the city of Chicago. First time in 30 years a team from the city itself has made it to the Little League World Series. Those kids had a big 12-2 win. Pierce Jones, maybe the best summer baseball hero in Chicago. Kid hit 3 homers and a triple today. Little League World Series going on the next week and a half on the networks. Jordan Palmer in at quarterback. And he shoots one out to his tight end, Jerron Mastrud, out of Kansas State. John, what's the deal here with Carson Palmer's younger brother, Jordan?
Well, he knows this offense, Mike. He's only attempted 15 career passes, but he is maybe as good a quarterback coach as there is out there. He trained Jimmy Clausen. He trained David Fales, their 6th-round draft choice. He's worked out a lot of the kids at the combine, and he can still play. He just needs to take advantage of this opportunity and prove it.
You worked with Blake Bortles as well in the process leading up to the draft. From midfield, Palmer with a hand to carry. The rookie takes it for 2 yards. And Palmer made it clear he's 30 years old, 4.5 years younger than his more established brother Carson. He doesn't want to be a coach. He just worked as a consultant, tutoring Bortles. Fales, who you mentioned, out of San Jose State, who's the 4th quarterback in this Bears camp. Keith Price out of Washington. And it helped him understand offense. He created a playbook for these kids to learn just basic concepts that he's come across in the many systems and places he's been over the years. Carey gets the first down, brought down by J.T. Thomas out of West Virginia, former Bear.
And really, one of the most astonishing things I saw last year was Josh McCown.
Yeah.
He was coaching high school football. I saw McCown play for the Hartford Colonels in the United Football League. Don't forget, McCown was 34 years old last year. Everybody forgot about him. He threw 13 touchdowns, 1 interception in this system. If McCown can do it, maybe Palmer can do it. But the backup quarterback is a critical position because we know Cutler has had some injuries, Mike. The last 3 times we've been here for Monday Night Football, Cutler has not played. So this is a critical evaluation for the Bears.
There you see what Josh McCown did. He's now in Tampa with Lovie Smith, 2 former Bears, hooking up down there.
He's playing for the Hartford Colonels, and he's coaching high school football. And today he signed a $10 million contract with Tampa Bay. So you take advantage of your opportunities. You don't know when that chance is going to come, but you have to prove to everybody that you're ready, and that's what Palmer has to do. Time is running out on this process.
There was the game in Green Bay that we had in November on Monday Night Football. Rodgers gets hurt. The opening drive, McCown wins the game. Carey cannot hang on to that pass from Palmer. And both quarterbacks, there's a flag, by the way, in the secondary. Both quarterbacks have not been helped
illegal
tonight.
Contact. Number 58 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Alan Bradford of the Jaguars.
That was a nice job by Palmer. Pocket presence, going through his progressions, getting to his 3rd receiver. Carey's got to catch that ball and be a viable runner after he catches it. You have to do more than run the ball in this Mark Trestman offense. Just look at Forte's numbers. Over 70 grabs last year.
We're good. Black. Hurry.
From the 39, Carey, 1 cut and go. To the 23, nice run there. Chris Preseason out of Wyoming made the tackle.
Outside zone, everybody's running it. Everybody's going to step with their outside foot. Ball's going to go right off your right side. And watch Carey press it, slash it north and south. Good open field tackle by Preseason, the safety out of Wyoming. Natural running skills, Mike.
Ryan Groy, the rookie, undrafted free agent out of Wisconsin, was 53, the puller and the blocker. Clear the path for Carey.
Black, nice 5'8". Yeah. Hurry.
Carey again to the right. That time, Submarine Jeremy Harris came in. We're hearing the conversation up here. You hear we're good.
Yeah.
When you're hearing that conversation, what is the discussion there, center and the quarterback, as they're assessing what's up front?
Well, everybody has this one word, hurry, or Omaha. You're talking to the center. Hey, Mike Wright, let's go with a Ringo call here. You're making your communication happen. And
Ringo
when you
means
go right.
R.
Lucky might mean what?
Left. Good.
And then when you say hurry, that means snap the ball before we get a delay of game.
Hurry.
See that, Mike?
Palmer complete. Mulligan down to the 3.
Excuse me, I like what Palmer's done. 4 verticals, we call it all go, with the back checking down over the ball, and at that time Palmer throws a beautiful pass to his tight end. Going to be an all go. You're going to see all 4 Bears run vertical seams. And Palmer does a nice job putting the ball over the top of the linebacker and underneath the safety with great touch against the double zone.
Logan, who's played for the Jets, St. Louis, New England, mostly a blocker. 7th team in 6 years. Palmer looking end zone. On the run, got rid of it. Incomplete. Pursued and knocked down by Chris Smith, rookie out of Arkansas. Jaguars' 5th round pick.
I used to hate getting in goal line situations late in preseason games.
Why?
Because a lot of the times the tight ends have checked out. Their play time is over.
Right.
So you don't have any tight ends left, so you can't access some of the plays that are in your goal line plan. So you can see Mark Trestman staying in somewhat of a normal offense because some of his tight ends are no longer up.
Mulligan and Master to there. Miller was hurt earlier. Dante Rosario not dressed here tonight. He's the backup to the starter Martellus Bennett. Gary seeking the goal line. Krasinski and Martin able to stop him short. Sherrod Martin out of Troy.
See Dennis Rowland out there playing right tackle. 6'9". They say he's 6'9". I asked him how tall he was yesterday. He said 6'9". I said, no, you're 6'11". He is tall. The ex-Cincinnati Bengal, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'd like to see him slam it right behind a 6'9" right tackle.
Third and goal. And Carey lowers the shoulder. And looks to be in. It is for a Bears touchdown.
What I'm talking about. Give the ball to a back that knows how to get it done. Double team off the right side. Pull the left guard and let Kadeem Carey score. Nice drive. A lot of it had to do with Palmer's execution.
One more time, that extra point only this week and last week in the preseason of the Hall of Fame game.
You love this, Mike.
Essentially
you
a
love the extra point.
33-yard field goal. What's wrong with it?
I feel like I just don't feel like I'm watching a regular football game. I like the old way, Mike.
Change, John. Progress with the times. Robbie Gould able to knock it. But see, it's not as simple. A little drama in the play. What's wrong with a little drama in life, John? We'll talk about it in a minute.
You have to change everything, Mike.
Good chorus of Bear Down Chicago Bears as the Bears have scored. A couple of completions for Jordan Palmer on that drive as he and Jimmy Clausen fight for the number 2 job behind Jay Cutler. And it is 19-14. About halfway through this final quarter. Well, Denard Robinson is back to receive the kick. Getting a couple looks in this role for the Jaguars. They'll run up and take it on the hop of the goal kickoff. Denard will find the ground at the 20-yard line. As we'll step out here with 7:50 to go. And a 5-point Jaguar lead.
Welcome back to Chicago. I'm on the Jacksonville sideline with 2 Super Bowl champions, Chris Clements and Red Bryant. Guys, you win a Super Bowl. Things are great in Seattle. How did you end up in Jacksonville, Red? And we're getting just video bombed by everybody back here. Red, how'd you end up in Jacksonville?
That's the business of football. It's what have you did for me lately. And I guess what we did for them lately wasn't good enough no more. So we get another opportunity to come down here and help another young team. And hopefully we can just bring out the experience that we had the last few years in Seattle to help this team accomplish the goal of winning the Super Bowl one day.
Chris, how have you guys been adjusting to the climate change from Seattle to the Jacksonville Heat?
Well, me being from Georgia, I'm used to it. So pretty much in the off-season, that's why I normally train is in Georgia. But coming from Seattle, where the weather was always nice or it was rainy or cloudy, I mean, it's an adjustment to make, but, I mean, so far it's been pretty good.
How do you guys duplicate what you had in Seattle, that dominant defense that you guys had in Seattle?
I don't really feel like you can duplicate it. What we did in Seattle was extremely special. That's an extremely talented team. I feel like we just can start over, start new here in Jacksonville. They got some unique talent on this team, and they just need somebody to help show them the way to win, and that's where me and Clem come in.
And Chris, you said that watching Blake Bortles reminds you of watching Russell Wilson when he was a rookie. In what way?
Just a lot of things Blake have is mechanics. He ain't afraid of nothing. If you can watch him out here tonight, he sling the ball all over the place, which is a good thing because it shows you that he's not fearful of making a mistake. But pretty much he go through his reads. He do everything the coaches ask him to do, and he's a pretty good quarterback.
All right, thank you, guys. Congratulations on your Super Bowl victory. Good luck in Jacksonville. Mike, back to you guys.
Lisa, thank you. Those guys went to the White House with the Seahawks, but they didn't go to the ring ceremony. Their rings were delivered to the Tiffany near where they were. They went to Tiffany and picked up their ring. You just got to drive yourself, get the ring, and then it's done. It's over. It's no big ring ceremony dinner, but they have the piece of jewelry that every player covets. Bortles' work is done, by the way. Stephen Morris, out of the University of Miami, is in the game at quarterback for Jacksonville.
Excuse me, that's a big loss for Seattle. Those are two impressive people as well as football players.
Morris trying to drop it between the two levels. It's incomplete for Kerry Taylor. Morris, a free agent, knows the offense when he played for the coordinator Jed Fish there in Miami. Fish was not with the Canes last year, and that was a step back for Morris, John, wouldn't you say, last year compared to his two prior seasons?
Yeah, I know some people in the evaluation business that nickname Morris Tin Cup because he makes some of the greatest shots, but he struggles with some of the routine plays. He just wasn't very consistent. That's the reason he wasn't drafted.
Good hang time on the punt by Redford. It's fair caught by Spurlock. A 40-yard kick with no return. 5.5 to go. Well, John didn't even mention this yet. We've got two of the guys off of your coaching tree head-to-head here tonight as Carey. Sonaris Perry now comes in, the rookie out of Louisville with the carry. And minimal game. Mark Trestman was with you. And Gus Bradley was with you in Tampa as well.
Yeah. If I could have hung on to those guys, maybe I would have been able to keep my job. Totally different in what they do. Gus Bradley, very animated defensive coach. Mark Trestman, scholarly offensive coach. Both outstanding teachers. They work so hard at it, and they have created environments, you would agree, Mike, that these players, they love coming to work. They love coming around these two atmospheres to get better and play football.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Gus Bradley first. The passion that Gus Bradley brought into the meeting room and the conversation. There he is with you in 2008 as part of your coaching staff. There's Gus up there. Great passion and energy. Did you see him as a potential head coach down the line when he was with you there 6 years ago?
I really did, Mike.
Really?
We would let Gus talk to the defense. We let him talk to the team. And he has a charisma that is unmatched. And the enthusiasm is not fake. It's not an act. It's real. It's from the heart. He'd rather coach football than do anything. And he tries to eliminate any anxiety, any depression, any stress.
Yeah.
All he wants you to do is compete and be the best you can be.
And that was the way he was framing this quarterback deal. It's like, we're not going to throw the pressure on Bortles and say, you've got to try to beat out Chad Henne. Develop, challenge yourself, improve, and at some point you're going to get there and everybody's going to see it and know it. And that's the atmosphere.
I know.
Hey, Jacksonville needed a shot to the atmosphere, and Shad Khan, the owner, is doing a really good job. You mentioned David Caldwell turning over the roster. These are preseason games, I know, but the arrow's going up here. It's not going down. If you're a Jaguar fan, I feel pretty good about the direction. I don't know about the results. Nobody knows what happens in this league, but Hall the return for 10 yards and a flag down. Don't you get that sense around Jacksonville?
I certainly do. And you're not going to find a coach with the resiliency of a Gus Bradley. He's got tremendous courage, too. Now, remember, he lost his offensive line coach, George Yarno, has a serious injury right before training camp, or illness.
Yeah.
And what do? All he's done is appoint different coaches, different people in the organization every day to stay on top of Yarno. Let's stay on top of Yarno. Let's make sure he comes back in complete health.
During the return,
and they rallied around Luke Butkus, a young offensive line coach. But no matter what the problem, no matter what the obstacle is, Gus Bradley will find the good in it and get the most out of you. I guarantee you, a lot of these kids on the Jaguars played for him in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
And some of the free agents that weren't drafted played for him on the Senior Bowl. They had to turn people away, Mike. Guys want to play for Bradley. He says, man, I can only bring 90 to camp. But there's Luke Butkus, familiar last name. But all the best to George Yarno.
Yes, yes.
Great offensive line coach, battling a serious illness. And if I know Yarno the way I know him, he'll be back sooner than later.
Jaguars offense back on the field, the 45, and the run up the middle with Storm Johnson into Bears territory. They flip this over, John, to a guy a decade older, Mark Trestman, who, as we detailed last year, went to Canada in the CFL with Montreal and won back-to-back Grey Cup titles. Couldn't really get that breakthrough opportunity in the NFL. And Mark, every time we meet with him, he stops whatever we're talking about at some point and always credits you that from your time together, you guys talked about one of us is ever out there, we're going to help that guy get back in football and get a job. And he said when he was out of football, you helped him get back into the league. And that rekindled his love of football, which is very evident with anyone you talk to around Hallis Hall.
Well, if you think about Mark Trestman, he was criticized in San Francisco. Ugly finish to his career there, and I thought he did an excellent job there. He joined me with the Raiders. I said, I'll coach Rich Gannon. You take Rodney Peete and Tuiasa Sopo. And a year later, they got rid of me, and Trestman got more out of Gannon than I ever did. He has been unbelievable with quarterbacks. Incredible intelligence, work ethic, and passion for this sport. And I'm just so happy that Montreal gave him a head coaching opportunity in Canada. He waited his turn, and let's just hope that this defense can rival the performance that they achieved last year from their offense. If they could do that, Mark Trestman might have the Bears close to the Super Bowl.
Incredibly cerebral approach to things, organized. 3rd and 6 for Morris, who throws the check down to Storm Johnson. And he cannot get the first down. As the Bears swarm to the ball. Jerry Franklin out of Arkansas. And now Lewis Jean on the tackle.
About Trestman this offseason, he said, you know, I've been out of the NFL for 7 years. I was in college in Canada, so I'm going to study the entire league. So he assigned
that first year you come back, and it's just you're just trying to get your house in order.
So he assigned every coach to 6 teams, and they studied the other teams in the NFL relentlessly, and they've added a few schemes here and there. And you should see his cut-up library. If you're a young coach, get to Chicago and meet Mark Trestman.
Spurlock muffs that catch, goes out of bounds at the 14-yard line. You mentioned a couple of his stops. It has been some kind of journey for Mark Trestman. We go back 30 years ago.
That was a good team now, Miami. Bud Grant, the great Vikings. Look at that, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cleveland Browns, back to the Vikings. Played quarterback for Minnesota. He went to the 49ers, Detroit Lions, Arizona. Let's go to the Raiders, meet John Gruden, back to Miami. I'll tell you what, this is hard to look at.
Passport up to Montreal.
Canada, finally. He's with the Chicago Bears. And that's why coaching is not for everybody.
No, it's not. That's why you're all a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to you. You were in Brazil. How many sporting events did you cover last month, Mike?
That passes.
You and Mark Trestman. You guys ought to become best friends.
And incomplete. As Palmer threw that. You watched a little bit of the soccer. That was very impressive.
It really was.
A little bit.
It's amazing.
Proud of you for
amazing.
watching.
You know, to see you in Brazil all that time and then see you at the British Open.
The World Cup started.
We're flying to Cleveland tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. to see Manziel.
Yes, we are. When the World Cup was here in America, it started right here at Soldier Field 20 years ago. On that infamous day with the O.J. chase and everything going on, that famous June day. Palmer throws complete, and Jaron Mastrud with the catch shot. 22:38 left. Bears trying to drive down the field for what would be a game-winning touchdown.
Jacksonville's a good tackling team. I think Seattle under Pete Carroll is onto something with this hawk tackling. They created a video and they keep the head out of tackling. Gus Bradley's brought that concept here to Jacksonville, but
Pass is ruled a catch. A flag comes in as well as the pass was brought in by Moss. Dale Moss, first-year player out of South Dakota State, who'd been lingering on the Bears practice squad the last couple of seasons. See all those earpieces and Madonna mics. The officials can speak
Pass
with each
interference.
other.
Number 31 defense, automatic first down.
It's been an adjustment for them in the preseason as well. So 2:13 to go, and the Bears at the 35-yard line. Pressure comes at Palmer, got hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Mike Harris from Florida State with the pressure, yet another flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 20 defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Harris, who was the nickel corner for this team last year, I don't know if he got up by the helmet or was it late.
what?
That is flag number 14 against the Jaguars. All the penalties in this preseason, 141 penalty yards, most of any team through the first week plus a game of the preseason. And on the run, Sonaris Perry. As we get inside the 2-minute warning, he gets inside the 30. Drama here at the end of the preseason. Bears going for the win.
Hi, this is John Gruden from Monday Night Football. I've been challenged to dump this water on my head. Oh, I'm going to challenge Mark Trestman of the Bears and Gus Bradley of the Jaguars. It's all for ALS. Thank you.
Well done. And you texted them and told them that challenge was coming.
They're going to come through for
All right.
me.
So
Roy Halladay, the old baseball pitcher, challenged me. Sean Payton. I got you too, Tirico.
Yep, you got me, and we turned into our Monday Night Countdown crew, and they took the challenge pregame and threw the bucket over to the guys at Fox in their pregame show. So having a lot of fun with that, but it's been great to raise money for ALS. Last 2 minutes here. Palmer. Perry to the sideline, showing some good football awareness and moves in this last part of the fourth quarter is the rookie undrafted free agent out of Louisville, Sonaris Perry.
The same play, all go check down. We saw Palmer complete the ball down the field earlier in this game. That time he checks it down, and that's a nice catch. And good presence to get out of bounds.
2nd and 2, plenty of time, and one timeout remaining for Chicago. No inside run time here with Perry, who will get the first down. Submarine by Alan Bradford. And the clock continues to turn with 100 seconds remaining.
Trap out of the shotgun. That'll slow the pass rush down.
Palmer scanning, complete to Armonte Edwards at the 5, the former Carolina Panther who was with Cleveland last year.
That's a great job by Palmer going through his progression. He read that right to left. His eyes are going to be over here, Mike. He's going to reset and work all the way back to his 4th receiver. That's good work and good pass protection when you need it the most.
Edwards, who was the quarterback at Appalachian State, really didn't work out as a 2nd-round pick by the Panthers. Clock still turns inside of a minute. And the handoff with Perry to the end zone. Chicago takes the lead.
They ran another trap you get these defensive tackles. We call them three techniques. On the outside shoulder of the guard, they're rushing. Let's trap them. Watch the right guard pull, trap the three technique, and that is executed perfectly. You have to give offensive coordinator Aaron Cromer, who's an outstanding offensive line coach, credit, and the Bears are going for two. Beautiful execution on a short trap.
Obviously go for two, make it a 3-point game. Preseason, Jacksonville will try to kick a field goal to tie it if they do get the ball back. We've seen the extra points attempted from the 15-yard line, but if you choose to go for two in these first 2 weeks of the preseason, the ball comes back to the normal spot, the 2-yard line. And Palmer looks for the slant, which is covered. Edwards couldn't get the connection, and it remains a 1-point Bears lead with 50 seconds remaining. Jamel Fleming was there on the coverage. It goes through the hands of Edwards. Well, the Bears come back. Palmer looked good on that drive. Take a 1-point lead.
We had Jerry here tonight. Austin, it's great seeing you, Mike. 8 officials here. Never had 8 officials. Got 8 tonight.
Yeah, it's good.
And I've seen some flags thrown tonight, over 20.
Yeah,
and these officials, they got their arm loose tonight. I mean, they were throwing flags. Watch this throw. This might be the throw of the night. Forget about Cutler and Bortles. Watch this referee right there on the right side. Watch this throw. Whoa. Look at that pronation follow through.
28, 31 yards.
Jerry, that is awesome.
It's Todd Pruitt.
When you throw 23 flags in a game, you're loose. You can let that thing go. But did you see the form, the finish?
Yeah, it was pretty strong.
That's as good a throw as I've ever seen by an official. Phenomenal.
Todd Pruitt, the back judge.
What?
He was a fool guy. Jerry's running away from you. Yeah. You're yelling at him.
27 flags, whatever it is. You guys were losing. You did a heck of a job.
Got to stay in shape, Coach.
You don't practice throwing your flag in the offseason, do you?
Not really.
Not really.
Why do you have to practice when you throw 30 every game?
Oh, jeez. See if Jacksonville can mount something to come back here. Chad Hall's return is eliminated pretty quickly at the 15-yard line. It's a few times, John. Defense and now special teams. We called Cornelius Washington's name here tonight.
Another second-year player out of Georgia trying to make this team. Bears have talked about keeping 9 or 10 defensive linemen. Now here is where you put an exclamation point on a comeback victory with your defense. 45 seconds. The Jaguars have all 3 timeouts left. Keep the ball in play. Rush the passer.
Stephen Marsh, the rookie from Miami, is the quarterback. That's behind Kenny Shaw, Florida State rookie. Post Jimmy Smith as a receiver. They have not had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2005. Oakland's the only other team in that boat. And obviously the players in the field now are not going to be the guys to get 1,000 yards. They hope to be Cecil Shorts or Allen Robinson or Marquise Lee, the draft picks they brought in. Setting up the screen for Storm Johnson.
Like the call.
To the 33-yard line, timeout Jacksonville, 34 seconds left.
Chicago's been playing this Tampa 2 deep, 5 under zone coverage. A screen pass can be a good call. Look to your right. You're going to see the screen come out to your left. It's a scan screen. Watch Storm Johnson slide across the formation. 4-man rush. Linebackers dropping in coverage. There's a cavity there to run with. Good call by Jed Fish. Plenty of time, 2 timeouts left, and a field goal wins it for the Jaguars.
16 yards on the game. Great opportunity for Stephen Morris to get one of these on tape. Ricky Stanzi is the other quarterback on the Jaguars roster, but Morris, the rookie, getting his look-see here tonight at the end of the game. And that pass is intercepted. And finally touched down to close the business for tonight is C.J. Wilson.
Makes no sense. Work it underneath. Check the ball down. That ball was clearly forced. Cover 2. The corners rolled up into the flat. Safeties are deep over the top. You've got to check the ball down. That ball was forced. And that caps off an impressive comeback victory for the Bears.
So Chicago go to 2-0 in the preseason. They go all the way out to Seattle to play next Friday against the Super Bowl champions, and then we'll be in Cleveland to play the Browns to wrap up their preseason. So the Bears have played their 2 home preseason games. Tonight's August 14th. Between now and October 19th, the Bears only have 2 games here. Home opener against Buffalo, then Green Bay at the end of September. They play a very road-heavy start to their schedule, which means at the back end, it'll be 5 of their last 7 here at Soldier Field. Jaguars will fall to 1-1 all this preseason. And Jacksonville will be in Detroit next Friday, then close with Atlanta. Jaguars open the season in Philadelphia, and the Bears, as I mentioned, will play the Bills here at Soldier Field the first weekend of the season. Chicago rallies with 13 in the fourth quarter to win 20-19, and we'll bookend week 2 of the preseason, seeing you Monday night just outside of the nation's capital. See Johnny Manziel and Brian Hoyer, their QB battle with Cleveland and RG3 and the Jay Gruden coached Redskins. With John Gruden and Lisa Salters, Mike Tirico. So long from the great city of Chicago. And here comes SportsCenter.